JoJo's Bizarre Adventure uses time manipulation a lot. They have 4 main antagonists that have time manipulative powers. They also have the flashbacks to expand on characters, and they have the time jumps to get to the different main characters, the different Joestars. The first known villain to use time manipulation is Dio with his stand, the World. The World has the ability to stop time, but Dio still moves around within the stopped time, so he can manipulate things like throwing knives at characters or moving characters downstairs for intimidation, which is weird he'd choose to do that, but dramatic flair, I guess. He can use the time stop before he dies for 9 seconds, not counting the monologuing. The more you use the stand ability, the longer you're able to stop time for. And he uses it for a maximum of 9 seconds before Jotaro kills him with his own ability, the time stop. Jotaro either copies or always had the time stop. It's highly debated, but either way, he starts using it to defeat Dio and then doesn't use it at all, which, why wouldn't you keep up with something like that? But at the beginning of part 4, he is apparently only able to stop time for 0.5 seconds. It doesn't sound right to me, but that's what I've heard, so I'll go with it. And by the end, when he defeats the main villain, Yoshikage Kira, he's able to stop time for 1.5 seconds. Speaking of Yoshikage Kira, he also likes to use time manipulation, though only at the end of the series. Yoshikage Kira uses his stand, Killer Queen, throughout the series to just blow up anyone he dislikes. He says he wants a peaceful life, but he causes his own problems. He's a serial killer with a affinity for hands. Jojo's is weird. Very bizarre, I would say. But later, Kira develops a new ability for his stand called Bites the Dust. Basically, if anybody finds out his identity, he can activate Bites the Dust, and that person will get stuck in a time loop where on the first day of something happening, everything that happened on that day will continue to happen throughout the rest of the time loops. And the time loops back when the user, or the inflicted one, tells another person of Yoshikage Kira's identity. That person is then immediately killed by Bites the Dust. And throughout the rest of the time loops that person goes through, unless they're able to change something, throughout the rest of the time loops that person goes through, that person will die constantly, and they'll loop again when they get another person to die to the Bites the Dust. And Yoshikage Kira gets away with this a while until Jotaro kills him Jotaro didn't kill him, but he beat him up, made it so he's unable to use his hand to activate Bites the Dust, and then Yoshikage Kira got ran over by an ambulance. The next villain to use time manipulation is Diavolo. Diavolo has the stand Emperor Crimson, or King Crimson in Japanese. King Crimson has technically another stand, because technically Diavolo is 2 people. The second one, Epitaph. Epitaph can see 10 seconds into the future. He's not always looking 10 seconds into the future, but Diavolo can activate him whenever he wants to see 10 seconds into the future. And if Diavolo doesn't like something that's going to happen within those 10 seconds, he can use his stand to skip that time. Or it kind of just erases that time from the timeline. So let's say he's going to fall in a puddle. So in the next 10 seconds. So he'll skip those 10 seconds. He is living those 10 seconds, but since that's getting cut from the timeline anyways, nothing affects him. So in one case, he uses that to make a stand go through him and attack another person. And he's able to use this for a while until a much more powerful stand just makes it so he can't do any of that ever again, and he gets stuck in a death loop. And the final use of time manipulation from a JoJo's villain that I know of, I don't know any in the manga that use time manipulation, but anyways. The last one is Made in Heaven. Made in Heaven is a stand used by Enrico Pucci, or Father Pucci, in part 6. And Made in Heaven wasn't the original stand, but at the end he achieves heaven, which is a fancy way of saying the stand got a power up. And he's able to alter time. He, well, technically not alter, but he speeds up time really fast to the point where he stopped time before. It'll go all the way to the end of that dimension, and then it'll go all the way into a new dimension where at the point in time, the exact point in time that Pucci activated his ability. And I think Pucci lives through this, but then he's defeated by the Joestars, as the villains normally are. But that's about it for JoJo's time manipulation. This video isn't very good. It took a lot of takes for me to make this, but it's fine. Now it's over. Well, thank you for watching. And I'll see you whenever I post again.